Welcome to the Waves on Wing show, aka the Wow Show. Like we do every week, we have a special guest on set who shares their story, tells us, their perspective on God, their walk with God, Christianity, and also share, their background basically and the impacts that they are making in different industries. Everyone who comes on this set is doing something amazing one way or another, or has a testimony that resonates with many people around the world. My name is Kingzkid. This is the Wow Show, aka Waves on Wings. As always, I'm doing this with.
I'm Lady Rowena. Welcome to the Wow Show.
Yes. Today on the show, we have a very interesting guest with a very interesting story. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I'm tempted to give you like a little gist on it, but we have in the studio Leslie Dankwa, UK, formerly UK based, now based in Ghana with his family, on the path that God has put him with such an amazing testimony. Honestly, I keep stressing on the testimony because Rowena and I have been we've just been in awe after hearing his story and seeing how transformation has happened and how God is using him now in this day and in this age. Brother, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Welcome to Waves on Wings, brother.
Bro, thank you for having
It's so good to have you.
What's this?
Yeah. Are you good? Right. So I almost had it wrong. I wanted to find out, were you born in Ghana? Did you move?
Nah, so I was born in the UK.
You were born in the UK.
And I moved to Ghana when I was 2.
Oh.
At the age of 4, I was selling ice cream in Nima.
For real?
Wow. My auntie essentially, so my mum was a single parent mum. Her and my dad had their differences.
Yeah.
And her moving to the UK, meeting my dad, having me, she obviously struggled to upkeep a child, herself, a house.
Yeah.
So for her, it's like the best thing I can do for myself and for this child is to send him back to Ghana where he can have that undivided attention. Right. She's having to work, pay bills, and trying to obviously pave a way for us, right? So sent me back to Ghana, age of 2, I'm with her sisters. Right. And my auntie raised me, affirmed me, let me know that she loved me. So at the age of 4, Charlie, Ghana, it can be tough.
It is what it is.
So whatever was happening at that time, she found it fit to say, listen, the values, the ethics, the morals, the traits in which I can give this child, it can't just be spoken along. So my main man will be able to me, let me give him something he can do. Right. So she decided, look, I'm gonna give you this trolley. You're gonna post up with this trolley. At them days I used to be able to speak Ghana.
At what age though? Like
4.
That's crazy.
By age 5, I was an ice cream connoisseur. All the ice cream I knew. Fan Ice, Fan Milk, Fan Yogurt, you name it. I knew all of them.
Was your aunt a Christian? Did you grow up in a Christian
it was
environment?
a Christian household. So what my granddad did at the time was, he was a very well-educated man, wealthy at that time. He built this massive hotel to essentially host all these children. Right. He had over 20 children. So he built this massive hotel, hosted all these children, and now it's kind of like a rundown hotel because they haven't really been able to maintain it. So I used to, stand up posted outside the hotel, and I'll be like, my ice cream, 1 city, 2 city, my ice cream. And then my aunt said to me, for every ice cream you sell, you can eat one. So
that is motive, man.
every evening I'm coming with a different colored tongue. Literally, so my childhood in that respect in Ghana was amazing. So at the age of 7, I went back to the UK. Right. So staying there for 5 years, I feel like what they deposited in me was cemented in the sense where raised in a Christian home, the values, the morals, the ethics in which they gave me set me up for walking on the straight and narrow path as best as I could. Because I had siblings, or should I say half siblings and cousins that had only lived there, born there, lived there. And the way they do what they do, or should I say their mindset, was completely different to me. And one story I can glean on was, I remember I was in what's it? I think we call it JHS.
JHS,
junior high school, right? And in the UK we call it primary school. I was in primary school year 4. Right. And I remember vividly, like it was yesterday, right? it was Christmas time.
Yeah.
And the teacher was putting some decorations up.
Right.
Class full of like maybe 20 young people.
Right.
And she fell from the top of the ladder.
Whoa.
And fell on her back. Boom.
Ouch.
All the students were laughing. All of them were laughing. And I'm like, what's
Why
funny?
are they laughing? You
Like,
know,
why are you laughing? Like,
Yeah.
they're genuinely laughing. Like, and I'm like, so I went to try and help her. Cut the long story short, they were obviously a lot less mature than I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's what Ghana does to you.
Yeah.
It ensures that you mature quickly.
Yeah.
Because you see some of these children out there,
Yeah.
they're having to look after their parents.
Yeah.
So all this hustle and bustle they're doing of selling
Yeah.
and of bribing and
Yeah.
grinding,
Yeah.
there's another agenda behind it.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? So
That
they adopt
forces
quickly.
you to mature. Yeah.
It forces you to mature.
Yeah.
So those days when I was selling ice cream,
Yeah.
Charlie, knowing how to count money, making
Yeah.
sure say no one's bumping
That
you,
early,
the NCC.
no one's hustling.
Charlie, all of
yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Because you go home, you got bumped, you get a clap on your head like, ah, where's the change?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like that, but
Yeah.
you know, at least I don't think it was.
Yeah.
If it was, then my mind's blocked it out already.
Yeah, yeah.
But the point I'm making is like Africa forces you to mature quickly.
Yeah.
So when we go to the West, we have a different mindset. I mean, look
Right.
at some of our uncles and aunties.
Yeah.
Charlie, they can work 3-4 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're tired, but they
Yeah.
grind more. Let's
Still
go,
grinding,
because I've
yeah.
got a family to think about.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely shaped me in a way where the way in which I approached life out there was different. You get me? So yeah, they ended up making a huge deal about the way I approached that situation.
Right.
In front of the whole school, gave me an award and all of that stuff.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like, Charlie, this is
Like
normal.
it's normal.
This
Yeah.
is normal, bro. Like I don't need an award for helping
Yeah.
someone that's hurt themselves. You get me? And that was at the age of 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So progressing on, obviously did my primary school, secondary school.
Yeah.
And now I lived in this neighborhood because you know they say, you know, you
It
become a
takes-
product of the
Yeah,
environment,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So as much as I had that Christian grounding, because of the environment I was in, I was susceptible to what the environment was about.
Yeah.
So obviously being God-fearing and having a mum that was a devout Christian,
Yeah.
not on fire, but a devout Christian in
Yeah.
the sense of like she prays, she
Yeah.
teaches, you know, she'll pray with me, you know, but then not being on fire because she's thinking, yo, I got to pay these bills.
Bills.
You get me? So cut the long story short, I had a friend who was a devout Christian, like on fire at his age. At the time, he was 16, I was 15. And we walked to school together and he would tell me about Jesus.
Wow.
And I could see how God was doing what he was doing, because on one hand, he was telling me about Jesus. On the other hand, my older cousins were telling me about drugs, and about how I can make my own money and da 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 da. So it was like a tug of war. So one, you know, some days I'll go and stay at my auntie's house, my dad's sister's place. So I was living in 2 different homes, and my cousin will come home and be like, "You're watching God channel." Like that, man.
What is wrong with you?
Like, like, why are you watching God channel? Meanwhile, he will come home every other day with a different girl.
Yeah.
He was always in the latest clothes, latest cars.
Yeah.
So that was my
It was attractive,
ambition
right?
of success.
Yeah.
It was a warped,
Yeah.
you know, idea of success,
Yeah.
but I had no other examples.
Right.
So my friend who was telling me about Jesus, each time I walk into school, he invites me to church. Long story short, he, you know, it was actually a Friday youth club. Youth club is so important, like, because you get to bond, there's a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And through this youth club, he invites me to a Sunday service. End up giving my life to Christ. 8 months in, I'm like, Charlie, I don't think this is for me, man. So I end up leaving. And I'm like, you know, I want to see what sin has for me. Like, I know, like, it's so crazy because, like, I knew that this side that I'm trying to walk on is not God's side.
Yeah.
And it was almost rebellious.
So question. You said you gave your life to Christ. You were in church for about 8 months, and then you decided it wasn't for you.
Right.
What about the situation made you decide? What was happening there made you decide that church, God, wasn't for you?
I don't know, maybe it was the influence from my cousins, the influence from the environment, like the local area boys, seeing certain things they had, the respect they had, the attention they got.
Yeah.
and just being like, yeah, I want that.
Church made you feel
cool.
soft.
Yeah, it wasn't cool. I was just like, nah.
Moist.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, basically.
No, but
bro.
so you recognize that there's no way you could do both. You have to do one or the other.
Yeah,
Obviously.
and I just decided, I said to myself, look,
Yeah.
I've been here 8 months. It's been cool. The people are lovely. I've got a sense of belonging here.
Yeah. Did you find like church people a little overbearing back then? Because were they like,
do you know what? Do you know what the funny thing is? Yeah, I think the Friday
Youth
club
yeah,
was like an easy way in
Right.
in a sense where I even brought some of my friends.
Okay.
So they just
okay.
came and played pool, table tennis, lighthearted.
Oh, so it was that kind
Monopoly.
of
No one would even talk about Christ, but just the fellowship in
just the
itself.
fellowship.
Like the maddest thing is, I had a friend, right, who
Yeah.
I knew and met then, who was on the verge of being signed to Virgin. Virgin
Okay,
was big
music.
back then.
Yeah.
And he was in 2 minds whether he should sign this deal. He was a bit older than me. He was in 2 minds whether to sign it. It was a big deal
Right.
at the time. But he decided he wasn't going to do it. And he was like, something told him he shouldn't do it. And I remember questioning him. I was like, Charlie,
Are you
like,
for real?
Like, bro, why did you not sign it?
Yeah.
Like, you could have taken your mum at the ends, you could have done this, you could have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know what? They took me out on the day, a night before I would sign the deal the next day. They took me out to, different clubs and they paid for everything. They showed me this lifestyle. But whilst I was in the club, he said,
This
spirit wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me because for me, I'm like, I would have took that deal, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not knowing what it would have came with.
Yeah.
So to touch a bit more on my story, becoming a product of my environment meant that I got involved in drugs, gangs, a whole heap of stuff. And obviously this stuff wasn't glorifying the kingdom, wasn't glorifying God.
Yeah.
And it was definitely leading me in a place where my mum wouldn't even recognize me.
Okay, so at this point, right, you gave your life to Christ, left the church, and now you're doing all sorts of
At the
things.
age of 16, I'm selling drugs,
So-
living life on my terms.
Would you still have called yourself a Christian?
No.
So at that point you had just
Everything was, and the funny thing is, like, my friend trying to reach out to me, still trying to get me to come to church. But I was like, I'm not interested. And I'd fixated my mind on this fast money. I was making money now. It's like getting attention from girls. I was about to start college. I was like, no, why am I gonna go and do that? You know? Yeah. But God being gracious, He allowed me to go away for as long as I did. And was still able to usher me back in. But all those things that I did led me to a point where this was the point of no return. I was offered to do a robbery. Now, what I was doing back then was drugs, fraud.
Small scale.
Yeah.
A little,
small scale.
But it actually progressed to 16.
And then
I was
it
doing
progressed.
class B, right?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I decided to get into class A. So I had some friends in the area that was doing it.
So what's class A? Like,
so
what
cocaine.
do you do? Coke. Of course.
And cut the long story short, I began to become numb to those morals and those ethics that was instilled in me. And I give one very vivid example of when I knew, no, something's changing in me. Is when I supplied somebody with some drugs, and they fell sick, like really sick, to the point where they had to go to the hospital.
Right.
But because I needed my money, I now decided to go and call some guys to apply pressure. And from there, when I had a moment to really reflect, I was like, yo, this ain't really me, is it? Like something's changing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the enemy's plan. Is to devalue you. You know, and to, those ethics and morals and
once
traits
that's out of the way,
the family have instilled and Christ has instilled in you has been broken. You're susceptible to anything.
Did that scare you when you realized that there was something?
I wouldn't say it scared me. I definitely acknowledged it because I'm quite introspective, or at least I like to believe that. But I acknowledged it, like, I'm pressuring this guy for my money because I gave it to him, say, okay, you can have it, but on this day that you get paid, give me my money. But I think the drugs were tampered with and it affected him in a particular way. And I didn't know about it being tampered with. So see, this stuff is just, it was like a domino effect, and I was given the pressure to give the money. He ended up paying, and I don't know if that's because of the pressure I gave him.
Yeah.
But these are the things in which it's just crazy, bro. I don't even know what else to say. It's just crazy, bro. But now when I think back on it, I'm just like, thank God for grace, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Tell us a little about the robbery that led to like you getting incarcerated.
Yeah.
And eventually I want to know how you found your way back to Christ, right?
For
Because
sure,
that's
man.
really important. Yeah.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
So it's funny because when I was in Ghana and I got to the UK, I lived in tower blocks. Oh, big tower blocks, 15 stories, 14 stories.
Man.
And there was a particular friend of mine that was like my brother, Ghanaian guy as well. Every year, his mum and his dad would put us back to back to see who was taller each year. I ended up doing,
sprinting.
Yeah. He stopped growing after some point. But we were like brothers, like to the point where if he got into a fight, I was fighting. If I got into a fight, he was fighting. But Charlie, he hadn't been gone. So now I can't like, bro, wherever we go, we'd always get into some kind of fight. Like if it's a club, we'd get into a fight because of him. If it's some,
is it because he knew that you would always like support?
Nah, he was just
just like rowdy and raw.
He was just rowdy, bro. Just rowdy on it. Anything.
Yeah, it's always
just on it. So there was this. So he basically presented this robbery idea to me, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the time vividly because I'd lost my job. So I was selling drugs, and because I wanted to play smart, I had a job. I didn't want my mum to question where I was getting the money from. Because I still wanted to give her my money. Because I know what she was having to do, having to work 3 jobs, tired.
And she wasn't going to take money that she knew was coming from.
No way. African mum.
Yes, of course.
No way.
So were you going to rob a bank? Or
Nah, never that. That's crazy. But what it was a brothel house.
Oh.
So essentially a shower.
Guaranteed cash.
A shower house.
Yeah.
And basically, we knew that there'll be a certain amount of cash at a certain time. Yeah. And if we go there, we'd be able to essentially take the money.
Is that legal, a brothel house?
No, it's not. They call it a massage parlor.
Oh.
But then you go to find out that it's not the kind of massage. You get it?
Yeah.
So, cut the long story short, the timing of it was crazy, man. Like, the timing of it was like wickedly crazy in the sense where I'd lost my job. This friend of mine proposed this robbery. I said, nah, I'm not on that. That's not what I do. And then he came back a week later when I'd been shy of money because the drug side of things was collapsing. Yeah. Money was skint with work.
Right.
So I thought to myself, you know what? Let's do it. So I contacted one of my guys who brought the idea of, cool, we'll bring guns as well. Because at this stage now, we're like, cool, we may encounter security. Because of course,
obviously, if there's cash there, they definitely have to understand they got protection as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we go and spy at the place one day.
Yeah.
And then we decide the next week we'll go and do it.
Right.
So we get there. The time we get there, they hadn't actually begun their stuff, right? Kick down the door, wave the guns, search the whole place, there's nothing there. We leave. Now, as we're leaving, is when we see 2 security guards at the bottom of the staircase.
And they were armed as well, yeah?
No, they weren't armed, but they were like
buff. Yeah.
Like, at this time, I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm skinny, like, if I've got any muscle on me, I didn't have any of it.
Yeah.
X amount of years ago. Yeah. So, we're all wearing balaclavas, running down the staircase, and then they've let my 2 boys go. I had a knife on me that was in like a zipper jacket.
Right.
And as I'm running down the stairs, it's flown out of my pocket. And the lights, it was like censored lights.
Oh.
So I'm stamping, I'm clapping, trying to see where this knife is because I can see at the bottom of the staircase. These 2 henchmen are down there. But thank God I didn't find it, because if I had found it, essentially this is what happened. So I leave the knife, ran down the stairs, the guy blocks me in. Out of fear, boom, 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 I punch him 3 times. But if I had the knife,
you would have stabbed him,
all here would have been where I would have just, out of fear, right?
Straight,
So God being good, didn't find the knife, didn't see the knife. I'm like, you know what? It's me here on my own. If I'm not careful, these guys are gonna do me.
Yeah.
So to just move the story forward, they ended up leaving me for dead. They came back. The firearm was dispersed. We got into a scuffle. But my mate that actually presented this idea of doing this robbery, the one that has always defended me, I've defended him, he was in the shadows.
Wow. And he could see what was happening.
And he could see what was happening. So imagine it's raining, the floor's slippery.
Yeah.
And I remember the footwear I was wearing was quite smooth at the bottom.
Slippery, so yeah.
So I'm trying to get up. My friend is in the shadows. And then my other friend, who is a lot smaller than us, with loads of heart though, waving this gun, fires the gun. We both drop back because the security guys had me. We both dropped back in terms of the security guy and me drop back. I'm touching myself to see if I've been hit. The security guy's like that, like he's dead. And then my guy comes closer and then bam, he kicks the gun out of my friend's hand. And now we're all scuffling and I'm like, oh my days, what's he doing? I'm trying to get up on my feet. My friend who's a lot smaller than the guy is trying to help me and help them. And it was crazy, bro. So fast forward, police got to the scene, found 2 firearms. They called the firing squad should I say, which is essentially armed police. They come and then I get arrested. I'm in a magistrate's court now. And I remember looking left in this courtroom, bro. And I saw the look on my mom's face. And I was like, oh my days. Like, it hit me. It hit me. Like, there was no words, but everything that I saw on her face, it was a dialogue. That in itself was a whole dialogue.
So you were the only one who got arrested?
Only one that got arrested. Others got away, left me for dead. The other aspect of my story is so dynamic that I'd just rather park that one side. Maybe in another episode.
We definitely have that.
Wherever you lead me, send me wherever you need me, Lord. I'll go wherever you lead me. Send me wherever you need me, Lord. Slide to the left, slide to the right. 2 steps back, do the ocean wave. Slide to the left, slide to the right. 2 steps back, do the ocean wave. Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave. As you're on the mix, so